Yeah, perfect. So, okay. So, shall we start the presentation, or shall we just discuss a little bit about what you want to do? You can comment, like you can use the chat box and comment what you like. So, yeah, let's discuss. That's something that came up over here. But I'm just gonna talk a little bit here. So, why do you think goal setting is important? So, I want you to guys to engage, interact, so we get to know and understand what value do you want to get from this workshop. So, we're gonna start an interaction session right now. Why do you think goal setting is important for anyone? Just write down in the comments, or you can raise your hands. I'm gonna unmute you. You can talk, or you can unmute yourself as well. For motivation, yes, that's one reason. Okay, nobody's interested in having a conversation. Yeah, to be disciplined, to have clarity, yes. On goal setting is a map to follow and a conduit to ground our energy into. Yes, yes, Gina, yes, that's right. Still a lot of people coming in, so I'm glad that people do take this seriously. Um, that's a happiness in itself. So, goal setting to keep a focus on and remaining on the path, yes, to be best of yourself. When we start tasks without setting proper achievable goals, we might end up lost without proper motivation, focus. Yes, that's true. So, goal setting is important for all of these reasons. And most of the times, we do set our goals, but they do not turn into reality, which is where this workshop is a highlight, because this is where I want everyone, to make goals that are tangible, as well as make them as your reality. It can be anything. If you want to be an athlete, you can be an athlete. If you want to become an entrepreneur, it is possible too. If you want to be the best coach, you can be that as well. So, any of your goal that you have can be achievable. There's only, between your goal and you, there's only certain things. Some of them are spiritual, but some of them are only self-limiting belief systems, and others are lack of discipline. So these are the only factors that pull us down from reaching our goals. So we're going to find out how we can use Sankalpa Siddhi Yoga method and achieve our goals with practicality, because this is not some um, airy fairy approach where you're going to think about it, visualize it, burn some incense, and magically things are gonna come at your table. That's not gonna happen like that. It's um, one of the hopes in spiritual community, where the law of attraction works when you just burn the incense and imagine, and it's gonna work. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Okay, so we're gonna break it down. Right? Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can always use the chat box and ask me. Okay. So I'm gonna share the screen now. I hope you're able to see the screen. Perfect. Welcome to this workshop, A Vedic Way of Manifesting. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, something that Eleanor Roosevelt says, and I abide by it. But what really is Sankalpa? Sankalpa is a yogic tool to help us focus and bring the power of our deeper core desires to bear in our lives. Sankalpa is heartfelt intention reflecting our highest ideals. Sankalpa also allows us to co create our life by fulfilling our desires through focused intention. So, Sankalpa is helping you to focus. It is not that something you write down on a piece of paper and just say, I'm going to manifest this. No, it is going to put you on a pace where that desire is so important for you. That desires are your deeper core belief systems that want to come out, and that reflects your higher ideals, which is why we take sankalpas which are in aligned with our goals and dreams. And why do Vedics use sankalpa method? Ancient sages, they already understood everything about the laws of universe, even long before Newton proposed it, especially how the philosophy of karma works, the law of cause and effect, the philosophy of sankalpa, which is the law of attraction. They knew that whenever the external force is applied on certain stable thing, only then something moves. And that is how the philosophy of karma works. And that is literally how the philosophy of sankalpa works as well. Because everything is at rest. And until you apply any external force, it is not going to move. So, for your intention to move, you have to apply an external force. That is how the philosophy of karma, which is causing a ripple effect on something, works. Okay? So, events only become meaningful to us as a result of an intent, which arises from the vision of a goal, path, or a direction in which we intend moving. When the intent is clear and focused, paths always automatically appear. So, what is the science behind Sankalpa method? The science is simple: intention. Intent is the factor that causes probability. There's so much probabilities, the chances of occurrences. But what causes that probability to materialize into a definite event? That is what the science of Sankalpa method works, because you're focusing on that particular desire or that particular outcome, and you are manifesting it with that focused intent. And intent is the factor which interlaces and joins events in our lives into tapestry of coherence. See, coherence is such an important thing. If not, everything has to be coherent. Your mind, body, and spirit, and your intention, all of them have to interlace together. They have to join together in our events of our lives. And then the intent is going to manifest into reality. Intent is also the factor by which change becomes transformation. Change is an inevident thing. It is happening all the time. But what is transformation? When you intentionally create yourself into another person. For example, Dipti, who was there 5 years ago, is now a different Dipti, or Cece is a different Cece today, or Jyotsna is a different Jyotsna today. So all of this is small changes that has become that have turned into a transformation. Intent is the factor which determines the positive or the negative ethics of an act. So this is the law of karma. Your intention itself will determine whether your thoughts are positive or negative. Are you going to attract the positive results into your life, or are you attracting the negative results into your life? And there is a certain amount of ethics that goes into it as well. Ethics are so important, and these ethics are shaped by the intent you have in your mind. Remember, mind is the creator. Everything happens in the palace of mind. So your intention, your thoughts are always manifesting. If intent is absent, there is no meaningful connection between our life's experiences and cosmic dynamic of change in which we unwillingly participate appears random, capricious, even chaotic. See, like everything becomes meaningless if your intent is absent. So, how do you know what is the power of your intent? There's certain amount of strength that lies in your intent, which is sankalpa, right? And there's a beautiful quote here by Sri Sri Ravishankar Guruji. Strength lies in the power of your sankalpa. Each work gets done through sankalpa. How beautiful it is. Today, if you want to come to this workshop, you are already having an intention, a strong intention rather, because you want to gain something out of it. And that itself is leading you towards something. And every work gets done through this intent. We can make our mind strong by sadhana, whichever we are going to come afterwards about the definitions of sadhana, which literally means spiritual practices. But there is a long road when a sadhak practices spiritual methods and gains knowledge and achieves the desired results. Because sadhana pada, which is the road towards achievement, is not an easy one. It can be spiritual goal, it can be a material goal, any goal. But your mind has to be very strong towards that goal, whether it is spiritual or material. That is when sadhana comes into play. Sankalpa will be strong when you only make your mind strong. So just tell me, is intention just enough then? Is intention just enough? See, is it that you're gonna intend something or you're gonna have a picture in your mind and that is just enough? Because everyone talks about intentions or manifesting. Everyone says, oh yeah, think about positive thoughts and they come into reality. So are these, like, yeah, there is a lot of truth into it, but is it just enough though? Is intention just enough? No, right? This is where the Western methods of law of attraction and all these two cups method fail, because there is no foolproof methods that are allowing us to achieve the goals. You might have seen there is a lot of, like, law of attraction is such a thing that is just like blown up on internet, or especially in YouTube and Instagram, from almost a decade or so. There are a lot of spiritual influencers who will always tell you how to manifest, take a bank check and write your name, and then just let it be there under the moonlight, and next month you're going to be a millionaire, right? These are kind of techniques that they teach you. And there are like two cup method, like you have to imagine this, your life is this way in this cup, and then you're pouring the water into this cup, imagining that you're going to be this person the next morning. So there are a lot of these intention based techniques that are like flowing around the internet. So do you really think they're going to work though? Or even if they do work, do you really think that is just enough? to just think, like, today I'm gonna think that I want to be millionaire by the end of this year. Is it just gonna happen? Am I gonna get $1 million by the end of the year? No, right? Yes, this is where the method, the Western method of law of attraction fails. And this is where we're going to learn about how Sankalpa Siddhi Sadhana Yoga works, and you have to apply it in your everyday life, because grounded approach are always going to lead us further. Airy fairy approaches are only going to keep us in the mental field. They're not going to align us to our Prithvi Tattva, which is earth element. We have to work according to all the elements. We are not here just by the one element, that is ether element. Quantum physics, which is taught by most spiritual entrepreneurs or spiritual coaches over there, is not the only thing. The fact that you are starseed is not the only truth. You are also a earth child. So because you have a body, you have material thing, like everything is touchy feely. So it is Prithvi element. It is earth element. So we have to find something that is grounded approach. We should not ever be in this ether space where we are only exploring the ether element, which is good. Like, we have to have certain balance. Like, that is where we talk about mind, body, spirit aligning all together and becoming as one person, as a soul. So, because if soul is devoid of one element, it is not soul. It is a fragmented soul. So we have to bring out all the parts of our soul together. Only then our intentions take their role. Like, we will be led somewhere. Okay. I'm gonna share the screen again. What does the Western law of attraction method omit? It omits the philosophy of karma. The law of cause and effect is very essential in manifesting. Why? Because you are causing something every single day. You are doing something every single day, and that is causing some or the other ripple effect. For example, you coming to this workshop has some effect one or the other day later. You will realize some wisdom out of this, or like something that I've told about the law of attraction method will have some impact in your mind. It might be very little or bigger impact, like whatever it is, but it still has some impact. So what law of attraction method of the West really omits is the cause and effect. Everything has a cause and effect. As I said, everything stays and moves stays at rest until something is applied on it, and the external force is again law of cause and effect, right? So if a planet has to move, there has to be a gravitational force that has to force it to propel and start rotating. So that is how the law of cause and effect works. And that itself is karma. Do you really think karma only applies to human beings? No, it applies to planets, it applies to gods and goddesses and everything in this universe, even your pets. Everyone is bounded by karma because it is literally a cause and effect. And what does it omit? It omits psycho-spiritual implications, which is mental health and somatics, which are not discussed in a lower method. Simply using like your intention and saying full moon rituals or burning incense on a full moon and saying that tomorrow I'm going to be a different person or my karmic cords are going to be cut is not feasible. It does not address the mental health, like the trauma that you have been carried from so many years and so many different lifetimes, and the somatics as well. You are a human being. You have certain sleep patterns, you have certain physical health problems, or there's a rhythm that goes on into your body. And when you're manifesting, you have to keep account of everything: your mental health, the trauma, the karmic implications, the somatics, how your body functions, the little nudges that your body is giving. Everything has to be taken into consideration. And also, it omits the personal and physical development. Manifesting requires physical strength plus mind training. Of course, like, how are you going to achieve something? For example, let's say you want to ace an exam. You have a upcoming exam, and you want to ace that exam, and you're just going to write it in a book that I got 96 percentage in this exam, and keep it under the moonlight with a crystal stone, and think that you're going to get past. That intention, of course, is very good, but what are you actually doing about it? Are you taking enough steps to change your personality, or change your habits, change your routine? That is all personal development, right? Are you taking enough steps to sit down and read and learn the subject? Or are you just watching the TV and passing by the time and just thinking that, yeah, tomorrow morning I'm going to get the exam done and 96 percentage is going to be on my report card? Are you going to do that? No, right? And also your physical development. If you are suffering, let's say, with coronavirus, right, the most common disease everyone is scared of, even if they have like the slightest booger in the nose, they're gonna think that it is corona, right? So, do you really think in those conditions where your physical health is not allowing you to manifest your dreams, are you going to still be able to do it just with that intent? No, right? You have to again come back to a place where you get healthy, and then you become um, stronger, and then you work on your routine again, because once your health goes down, your routine also gets upset. You don't have a healthy routine, you start eating bland food, or like you don't eat anything at all. So you have to get back the energy, you have to train your mind again, you have to get stronger again. So this is how manifesting actually works. It is a lot of hard work, it is not just like airy fairy things, right? So what is sadhana actually? What is sadhana yoga at the end of the day? Sadhana is a Sanskrit term. It is used to refer daily spiritual practice, but it is also means achievement in layman's language. Um, Sadhana itself means achievement. But what achievement? Um, Sadhana means disciplined surrendering of the ego, not just surrendering the ego, what all the spiritual influences talk about. It is disciplined surrendering of the ego. Because once you surrender the ego, there are a lot of people who do this by hallucinogens and other stuff. The ego death happens, or awakening happens, and the ego goes off. But then something always comes back, right? Like, ego is never gonna die. It's always going to be with you, no matter how. What is your progression in the spiritual growth or regression in the spiritual growth? It is always going to be there with you. So, how are you going to surrender the ego? You're literally going to be so disciplined that your ego becomes your, like, usually ego is your master, right? Now you're training your mind to make the ego your slave in a way, not a slave, but to listen to you, you know. So you're disciplining the ego, you're disciplining the tantrums of the ego, you're telling the ego to uh, like a child, like, don't stop, like, stop behaving like this, you know. But that requires a lot of patience, and what a lot of tools as well, hard work. And what are the tools? We use yogic tools like asanas, pranayama, meditation, chanting on daily basis, self-discipline plus determination is so important. So, facet of sadhana that allows one to achieve power over the ego and maintain the connection with universal oneness. So that is what we call sadhana yoga. A sadhak is a person who practices spirituality. You are also a sadhak. Everyone is a sadhak in their own way. If you have a routine or a goal that you get up and do every day, then you are a sadhak because you're achieving something every day. Whether it is little, like small goals, or a big goals, it is always like the size of the goal is does not matter. Even if you manage to get up from your bed today in your prolonged depression, it is still an achievement. So that itself counts as a sadhak as well, sadhana as well. So sadhak uses various methods like karma yoga, dhyana yoga, raja yoga, and kriya yoga. Karma yoga is nothing but just performing your duties while day-to-day life, knowing and being aware that you're not hurting anybody, you're not intentionally causing disruptions in the natural order of universe laws, you know, or you're not trying to bring down another person or doing some illegal activities, even those have karmic implications as well. So, as long as those illegal activities are in the highest good of the universal, consciousness, then they become revolution. They're not illegal. So, yeah, in the terms of revolution, every illegal thing becomes a revolution when we voice our opinions. But that is what the beauty of Bhagavad Gita as well. The very fact that Krishna led Arjuna to a revolution to stop adharma is karma yoga in its own self. And jnana yoga is practicing a little bit of knowledge, gaining wisdom, learning something every day. Even reading a passage about something positive is jnana yoga. Listening to um, people who have a little bit more knowledge than us is also jnana yoga because you are inviting that energy of Saraswati, which is the wisdom, the knowledge in you. And Raja Yoga is again your um, physical exercises, all of this, and Kriya Yoga as well. And what does sadhana involve in general? It involves passion because you have to have a passion. You have to have some burning desire that is heartfelt, that is so close to you, that you want to achieve in your life. And you need to have a determination towards it. You have to have that single-minded determination that you want to achieve that particular thing. And you need to have a self-discipline because if you don't have self-discipline, if you don't wake up on the right time and get to work, then it's not going to work. And you have to do equal amount of hard work towards it as well. You should also have knowledge about the subject. You should also have like wisdom, knowledge, everything related to the subject or the passion that you want to pursue. For example, if you want to just start a YouTube channel, you need to know, you should be determined first that you want to be a YouTuber, and you have to be self-disciplined to make sure that you have a channel, everything set up. You need to have hard work. You need to do hard work. Like YouTube is not very easy task. Like I thought I would be a YouTuber. I will someday come on YouTube and talk about these things. But it does take a lot of work. And you have to have enough knowledge about getting um, started with YouTube as well, right? And it has to be tangible. Your goals have to have a tangible set limit of time where you know that you're going to achieve it in that time period. It should also support your psycho-spiritual health. It should not make you mentally sick or spiritually sick. You should not chase a passion that is not tangible. You should not chase a passion that is not in line with your mental and spiritual health. So these are the things that sadhana involves, and you have to be consistent as well in pursuing your goals. You have to have a daily routine as well as connection with the passion, because if you don't have the connection, like you don't feel it, you don't feel the goodness about that passion, like that excitement and the butterflies in your stomach about the passion, then you're not going to achieve that goal. And how do we know that mantras are going to support us? Before that, I'm gonna just engage with you. So far, so good? Yeah? Are you learning enough, or is it the same old reels that we see every day? No. Okay. Is it something different? Okay. A lot of doubts arise that way. Okay. There's a lot of engagement here. I'm just going to see them. Intention plus action, yes. Very unique and inspiring information, not repetitive. Okay, thank you. What is spiritual sickness? This is a very good question. Um, I'm going to come to it later, but just to highlight, whenever you're not aligned with your goals, your body, your mind, and your soul feels trapped. It feels like I should not be here. I'm not in my right place. And that itself causes spiritual sickness because you're not following the guidance of your heart and you're not working towards it. Even if you are aware of your heart's guidance, you're not working towards it. For example, let's say that you have intuitive enough to understand that this is your path. Just let's say, like, take an example of becoming a YouTuber. Very easy. So let's say your ambition, like your soul is saying that, oh, I want to be a YouTuber and I want to be on screen, or I want to be a movie star. That's like my goal. But if you're not taking enough action towards it, your soul is going to feel like, oh, but then I'm made for it. I'm made for being on the screen. I'm made for doing something. I have so much ideas that I want to share, but I'm unable to do it. So this is how you develop spiritual sickness, because you're not aligning yourself in that path. And there are a lot of other different ways spiritual sickness happen as well. Because most of us, we have very small amount of memories from our previous lives. And we have like so many, like a little bit hints of them, which is why we think like we start to look for the puzzle, like we try to fill the puzzle in, and we are not able to fill the puzzle. That is when we develop spiritual sickness. For example, let's say like you're an intuitive, you're an empath, you started off like all of these emotions inside of you, and then you started questioning things, like existential questioning, right? Like, why do people are like this? Why do people do not understand? And that missing pieces, and you do have some kind of association with your previous lives or your previous selves or future selves. Like, time is fluid, like you are living in so many different dimensions, in so many different selves, stars or human cells, anything, particles, anything. So you do get some of those instances where you get some information or receive or download, And then you start thinking like, oh, but then this is my home and this isn't. I should not be here because these people are really weird. That is where we find spiritual sicknesses, because we are alienating ourselves from a place, and we are fragmenting our souls in different places, which is why I said bring down your soul into one place, gather them all, because if you are living in ether spaces, you're not really enjoying the present moment that you're having here, right? So that is also one of the reasons why spiritual sicknesses happen, because we are too much caught into another realm. We're not really focusing on this realm. And a lot of work on this realm are getting held up because we are too much focused on the other realm. But that is all in the mental space. That's not on a physical space. Right? And I know a lot of you guys, I know you personally, and I know exactly what you guys are thinking, which is why I'm saying this, because I know a lot of us have been in this place of thinking that I'm a starseed. But yes, we are. Everyone is a starseed. Every person, but some of them have awakened it, some of them haven't, because universe is such a massive thing, and you do get incarnated into this earth realm, and other places, right? But just sticking to that and rejecting our um, existence here on this planet is going to alienate us in this realm. It's not going to let us enjoy the goodness of this nature, feel the nature, or enjoy the people around us. And this spiritual sickness is, we have to get through it, because how are we going to get through? By setting the goal, doing things every day, refocusing. If focus is not working, refocus it. If something is not going up according to you, then again try another time. It's always trying. Like, every morning is a new morning. If sun comes down every morning, then do we try again, right? So that is how we tackle this. Now we're going to talk about mantras, why mantras are important, and how mantras can help us actually to achieve the goals. Shall we? Or do we have any questions over here? Do we have any questions? No, right? Okay. Let's start then. So, what are mantras? Mantras are simply affirmations and requests made to the universe in a musical manner, so that it rewires the subconscious and to believe that impossible things are possible. At the same time, it allows us to work with the universal energies to help manifest our desires. Mantras, if you think about it, they're just invocation of cosmic energies set in a way that they are um, in a rhythmic manner, um, beautiful musical manner. So, and also with the specific beach mantras, which are like the sounds of universe. When we use them, we are working in tandem with the universal energies. And our subconscious mind, even if it doesn't believe in the impossible, it starts believing, because subconscious mind knows um, the power of affirmations. So there's a lot of research that has gone in mantras, like researching mantras as well. And scientists say that when a mantra is chanted rhythmically, it creates a neuro-linguistic effect. And such effects occurs even if the meaning of the mantra is not known. That's the beauty of subconscious mind, and how we can retrain the subconscious mind. Even if you don't know anything about the mantra, even if you're talking Spanish to me and I don't know Spanish, but if it is positive, my brain is going to understand it. And even if I talk to you in Hindi and you don't consciously understand it, your brain is going to decipher it because it creates a neuro linguistic effect. Chanting does create thought energy waves, and the organism vibrates in tune with an energy, and the spiritual appeal of the chant is experienced. So, what are the benefits of chanting mantras to achieve our sankalpa, which is our goals? Chanting eventually makes us meditate, which is very true in my own experience, and I think you have experienced it as well at the beginning of the session. It will help you focus on nothing and something. It depends on you what you want the focus to be on. If it is 0 point and just let it be, then you can meditate on 0 point as well, which is nothing, which is void, which is absolute universe. But if you want to have a focused meditation, chanting also helps you in attaining that easily as well. Repetitive um, chanting helps you focus. Meditation requires focus, which is very difficult to achieve. But when you chant with concentration, the minds get focused, thus the goal oriented. So let's just say I'm going to do this practically with you in a short while. Um, but for now, let's understand the benefits of chanting mantras. Okay. Listening to mantras also regulates your blood pressure. If you're unable to chant the mantras, you can just listen because obviously Sanskrit mantras are quite difficult to chant, even for us, and it's quite impossible to chant if you're non-Vedic person. But if you know any mantras that are very simple, like Buddhist mantras, Jain mantras, you can also do that. Any mantras, they're all the same. So listening is also very beneficial. It regulates your blood pressure, your heart rate, your brain waves, and all the adrenaline levels, which is very important because if adrenaline levels are in control, we have already won half of the game over here because all our body is controlled by our adrenaline glands, which is why we tend to get irritated, pissed off, low in energy, hormonal imbalances are all because of the adrenaline levels. And mantras actually regulate the blood pressure and all these stuff like adrenaline stuff. So knowing the meaning of the mantra and the chanting tunes, your mind towards so your mind becomes aware, and it helps you to reach your goals easier. So let's just say you are doing a mantra, Gayatri mantra for example, and make an effort to understand what the mantra means. You have Google now, like everyone uses Google, so just use Google to understand what does Gayatri mantra mean. And when you find out the meaning of those mantras, your mind will quickly catch up to it, and it will latch on to the meaning. You don't have to do anything more than that because your subconscious mind picks up information so quickly. And that is going to guide you towards reaching your goal. Every time you listen to that mantra, your subconscious mind triggers that meaning. So, knowing the meaning of the mantra really helps you reaching your goals faster. Neuroscientists also have confirmed that chanting improves linguistic abilities. Um, that is, like your ability to speak perfectly, your language skills, um, grammar skills, etc., and communication abilities, your mental skills, that is, your intelligence, um, logical thinking, because Sanskrit is supposed to be one of the languages that is used in computer science. So, Sanskrit mantras, Buddhist mantras, these mantras, they all come from the same language. Uh, family, linguistic family. So using these mantras can improve your mental skills while also improving the rhythmic motion of your body by harmonizing the nerve cells plus blood pressure. Cymatics is a field of science which we all know. Like we've seen all of those videos where certain music is played and the water is kept there and water suddenly starts changing its structure. So those structures are created by the sound vibrations, right? So cymatics actually confirms how the sound can affect our body, and also water is very essential because we are composed of water. So if we are using sound, for example, we are using affirmations, if we are using mantras every day, let's just say you have a mantra. Everything is a mantra, right? Like everything is a spell, which is literally means mantra. And you're saying, I'm positive, I'm motivated. So your water in your body is changing structure accordingly every single day. It is thinking, yes, she is motivated. Yes, she is um, super into this stuff, like she's gonna get this goal. But if you're feeding your body, the water inside of your body, and saying, I'm so lazy, I can't move my butt out of this bed again. I am so ugly. I can't even look at my mirror. Look how ugly I look. Then you are telling the water inside of your body to change the structure the same way, right? So I don't think so. We should do that, especially when we are aware of it. So there's a YouTube link that I've given. I will send you this PPT later, like presentation later, so you can watch what the Gayatri Mantra does to water in Simoscope. Right. So this completes our session for today of general understanding of what is Sankalpa and how we are going to use mantras, how we have to set the goals, and why it is not practical. Um, Tomorrow it's going to be a very interesting day. I want every one of you to be there because you will be practically doing the goal setting, which is very important because you can listen everything from this year and forget the next morning. But if the moment you start doing it, that is where the change in the motion happens. Like you're setting the change, right? So tomorrow is going to be that. It's exactly 9 o'clock. I didn't expect it. Like I planned for like exactly 1 hour session, but it didn't expect it would take the exact amount of time. Um, so now I'm going to take some questions and take your testimonial about what you learned today and what could have been better and what you expect me to do tomorrow. And also give you instructions about what to do tomorrow and what to bring, all those things. So you can unmute and talk to me one on one.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a question regarding the chanting mantras.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is it effective when chanted loudly,
Mm-hmm.
or or is it more effective when we chant it in our mind?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And another query. Sometimes we are chanting mindlessly, like with the resistance, or just let it get over, and that brings up more resistance in us,
Mm-hmm.
or dullness.
Mm-hmm.
These are the two things I wanted to bring on.
Okay. So first thing, mantra. You can mute yourself. Okay, now I'm gonna speak. So mantra, what is it? Man means mind. Tra is a technique, and that is how tantra as well. Tantra is your body, and tra is the technique. So it literally means using the techniques of your mind to achieve something, using the techniques of your body to achieve something. Even yoga is also a kind of tantra because it is using the body to achieve the poses and all of that, right? And basically, your mind works all the time, whether you're paying attention to it or not. So if you have a mantra that is running like an auto tune in your mind, then it is working, which is the first thing we do in mantra siddhi, uh, which means like getting the mantra into our mind and then getting it back into our subconscious mind. That takes several days of chanting. For example, let's just say Om Namah Shivaya, very simple mantra. It has its own frequency. It's calling in the Shiva energy itself, which is the most powerful energy that you can invoke. So, very simple mantra, just 3 words, and has its own power. If you keep chanting it, like we always have set number of times, like 7, 5, 7, 11, 21, like this. Like basically 108 is the best number, which is the one mala if you chant it. So 108 is actually a very um, scientific number. I think I'm gonna tell. Should I tell it now? Okay, I'm gonna tell it now. 108 are also 108 namansha in your chart, as well as um, planetary wise as well. They have certain frequencies, which I think I have to brush up on my basics regarding the number 108. But 108 also equals 9, which is the Fibonacci sequence, which again goes around like this. So 9 is a number that is very auspicious, which itself represents Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. We just have uh, impersonificate, impersonified some deities, just looking at the nature, right? Just Hindus thought like, okay, Fibonacci sequence, we're gonna name it as Vishnu, just like that. Take everything by the grain of salt. Yeah. So chanting, if you do it in rhythmically with set number of malas or set number of times, it is going to enter your subconscious mind, and that becomes an auto tune. It is going to play in your mind all the time. So it is working, and our ambition is to get to that place until the mantra becomes, like you should not struggle to read it. So that means the mantra is working. Whether or not you're focusing on it, or like if you're just like reading it with a focus intention, which it works very well. If you're not, and if you're just like saying Om Namah Shivaya in your mind, then it is still working. And there are two ways actually, the external and the internal. Whenever you say mantras internally, it is working in your consciousness, in your body, in your chakras, in your mind, your subconscious mind, and the space that you see in meditation, that the universe that you experience in the meditation, the void that you experience in the meditation, and the everythingness you experience in the meditation. So that is affecting your internal space. But when you chant the mantra loudly and you express it in the external, it is bringing the vibration to everything around you, like your space. We use mantra to clear the spaces in our house. We use mantras to energize something, for example, a ring, you know. So mantras can be used in various different ways, but I would suggest use mantras um, in a way that benefits you specifically. Do not try to mess with mantras that much. Just use the mantras which are very benefit, like standard ones, not very complicated ones, just standard ones, and use it. Gayatri Mantra is the best way to start, and also Gayatri Mantra requires a little bit of rituals because you need to be pure, observe some purity, etc. But otherwise, you can use mantras in energizing your goals every day. Other questions? I hope I answered the second question as well. Yeah. Dime, dime, tell me, guys. I'm so excited, and you guys are just staring at me. This is not cool. Come on. Ask me questions. I love questions.
Hi, Dipti.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really like the phrase which you said, surrendering ego, uh, disciplined, and being surrendering our ego.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever we think we have to be disciplined, the ego is the main thing that obstructs us. The time of the situations. The ego calls us to think about the situations and no, I can't do this. Maybe I can't wake up. Maybe I can't do this. So I really like the idea of surrendering our ego. So how easy, like, since it's the beginning, like, how do we really surrender our ego? Like, should we talk to our ego? Should we meditate? Like, how do we practically do that?
A lot of ways. So that is what sadhana itself means, right?
Hmm.
And why I prescribed you the mantra method is because it's a very easy method and anyone can do it. But it requires determination and it requires you to tell your mind to sit in a place to chant a mantra. Everything
Even
requires hard work. Even if you want to surrender your ego, it requires hard work. Excuse me. But I told you mantra method. Why? Because you can sit down for 20 minutes and chant a mantra because you are like doing something. Your mind is so tricky and it is so smart that it gets distracted just like that. If it doesn't have a work, it's gonna be distracted. It's like off I go. Thank you. See you tomorrow. I'm gonna do something else. So that is how your ego works because that is the ego itself is controlling your mind, right? So how are we going to discipline the ego? We're gonna tell it small tasks. Do small tasks today. Do a little thing, okay? Just I'm committing 5 to 10 minutes to do some mantra just today, okay? For let's say 21 days is a day window time for any person to break a habit. So to induce another habit, we always use 21-day window time. So you just tell your mind that's when you take Sankalpa, the way I'm going to teach you tomorrow. Because you're going to say that Sankalpa is committing itself. Like you're committing to a goal. You're going to say to the universe because you're inviting the universe into this. So now you can't back off, you know? Because now the universe is involved in making your dreams come true and you have to work towards it. That is why we take sankalpa. You're saying like, okay, I'm gonna commit myself to achieve this goal and I'm gonna spend 21 days of my time practicing mantras and doing this particular task every single day until I master it. So this is how you're training your mind, this is how you're disciplining your ego. Otherwise, it's like, why do you think goals do not work? Because your mind is so clever. It just wants to explore in different places. That's it. So that is how we take Sankalpa. Sankalpa is itself means commitment. Commitment to yourself, commitment to the universal energies, God, consciousness, or whatever. Once you involve universal energies, you have certain sort of a fear because now God is involved. This is where we kind of use energies to manifest, because now God is involved into helping us manifest our dreams. And now I have to work, because I can't just go and ask God in front of a God to give me gifts now, because I said I'm gonna work. And that's how you work, because you're not just like going in front of a God and saying like, please God, give me this, give me that, give me good relationships, give me good uh, partner, give me good this and that. Why? Like, did you work for it? God's always going to ask you, did you work for it? And how are you going to work for it? By committing yourself. And committing yourself itself means taking the sankalpa. It's like sankalpa is literally a commitment that I'm just going to do. Like, this is how we do the sankalpa. And we're going to place it, and we're going to say our name, where everything. And we're going to tell you tomorrow how to do that. And then say, I'm committing myself to do this for 21 days and see. And I want you to assist me. I want you to give me these results. And then you see, like, you start working towards it. And then your mind, your ego itself starts saying, like, okay, I'm going to have to do this because, like, again, God is involved. Like, bro, like, let's get to work. You know?
So
So
even our doubts, the doubt of starting something or the path, if it is correct for me or not, I think everything will be answered
yeah,
by our sadhana
of
itself.
course, of course. Sadhana answers you everything because you are committing yourself in meditation, which is the best way. Sadhana itself also means like you don't have to do meditation. If you want to be an athlete, you take a sankalpa that I want to be a best athlete today and that I want to be in Olympic. And then you just go train, train, train every single day, because that is your meditation. That itself is your training your mind. You don't have to sit down and chant mantras here. You're just working. So that is how you achieve your goals. Because you're committing, you're allowing the universal energies to help you. Right? So that is how it works.
Hey, hi Dipti, can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like while doing puja, when I chant mantras, suddenly I have this itching sensation over here, or I feel there's some insects are crawling over my face. Why is it so? And it's like every time before sleeping, I meditate for 10 or 15 minutes using some sound frequencies. And I was able to meditate for like good 20-25 days. And suddenly I started dozing off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying my best, but I'm dozing off. So
Mm.
I really don't know who, yeah,
Okay.
if you can
So
guide
there
me.
could be a lot
Yeah.
of reasons. First reason is that your body, your physical health is not allowing you to sit in the meditation, which is why I stressed upon your mental and physical health. To do any sadhana, your body and your mind has to allow it. And your mind, of course, you have to train your mind, but your physical health, you have to make sure that you have it in check. So, of course, I'm not in a very good health to even give you all these, uh, big words. I'm doing my own part of my journey in bringing my health into check. But everyone has to do it. It's always a process. Like, you can't just ignore one aspect of your life and then focus it on another. Meditation also means you bring your physical body as well into the space. It's not just your mental body. So wherever you're feeling itching or like all these things, disturbances in your mind, like during meditations, just take those moments and notice those, because they are telling you something. Those little nudges are always speaking to you. They're saying this is somewhere that you have to pay attention to. Listen to it. Let's just see how the thoughts, like if it is just and some kind of like subconscious pattern, then you're gonna notice it. Your mind is going to see it. It's like you just have to sit down and see like why are you coming down and giving me itching. Just speak to it as a consciousness, and then you will realize it's not a big deal. Then you move on and you go to next stage of meditation. That's why I always say meditation is not about quieting your mind. It is about talking to those thoughts, because there are plenty of thoughts that are coming to bother you, and you have to sit down and address it. It's like, today I want to um, I want to eat ice cream today. So that's a thought that is coming to you. But what you're doing in meditation is you're trying to stop that thought. Don't stop the thought. Just listen. Why is the thought coming that you want to eat an ice cream? Just ask, like, okay, why do I want to eat ice cream today? Then you will find out the answers. You will know, like, okay, it's just a craving. I missed sugar for some days. So these kind of like explanations you get to talk to your own thoughts, right? Isn't it something like so fascinating that you can talk to your own thoughts? Like thoughts are trying to
Okay,
talk to you, right?
yeah,
You can talk to the thoughts.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's like just acknowledging your thoughts, right?
yes, yes. Acknowledge your thoughts.
Yeah.
Do not just push them away. Do not just push them to the deep end and say, I'm going to just block all the things and meditate. It's not going to be possible. Your mind is not going to allow you. You have to address those thoughts. And then, if they're not important, that's when we do mind training, right? If they're not important, just tell that thought to stay away right now because you have something important to do, right? Just talk to your thoughts. It's just say,
Okay.
okay, you see, like right now, I do not want to engage into this conversation because I know that you want to talk to me, but I just want to be alone. So this is how you talk to your thoughts. And that's how you get into meditation. So easy, right?
Okay.
I
Thank
know,
you,
but
Dipti.
it's
And
not easy.
yeah.
It can be easy.
Yeah. And one last question I have one more. Like, how do we actually differentiate what is intuition and what is ego? Because I always get confused between them.
Mhm. Intuition usually does not come here. If you're feeling some thoughts over here, then it is probably very much related to your mental own thought creations. But intuitions usually come to you as nervousness or something like a dump in your stomach. If you feel like negative feeling somewhere, then you usually feel attacked in your solar plexus chakra, which is your stomach. And if you feel like this is not something for me, then you feel somewhat like your heart is sinking. So that is intuition. And you also feel goosebumps or something like mm, like your hair are standing up. That is another sign of intuition. There are a lot of different ways your mind, like body, deciphers information. You have to pay attention to specific information your body is used to, because you are a different person than another person. I am a clairvoyant, so I am able to see things which is very easy for me to understand if that thing is right or wrong. But if you're a person, if you're a clairsentient, then you will be able to feel those hair standing up. And if you're a
Yeah.
person who is clairaudient, then you will have a voice speaking from your mind, like from inside. It's not from your mind. It's like when mind is thinking, like you're thinking, I'm gonna go and have food now, is the thinking. But the voice does not come in that way. If you're clairaudient, you would be able to distinguish that voice, which is very wisdom, like it has a um, element of wisdom into it. It has something very grounded that your higher self is speaking to you. So you will be able to distinguish it. So you have to pay attention to your own body, which is uh, the extrasensory perception that your body has. Everyone has it. It's not like I am ESP and you're not. Everyone is ESP. We just blocked it. That's all.
Thank you, Dipti.
Okay. Anyone else? How to be safe with mantras? I mean, some mantras are very powerful, and we need the ability to be stable with its energy, right? I have heard some mantras should only be chanted after getting initiated from a guru. So, how to make sure that chanting a specific mantra for a number of times is safe? This is a very, very good question and a valid question. Yes, it is right that some mantras have to be initiated by a guru, and most of those mantras are um, tantric mantras or beat mantras, which I do not recommend anyone chanting it unless you have been initiated by a guru. But there are so many mantras that anyone can chant. You can just Google some of the mantras. For example, um, Nama mantras, which are like name mantras, taking a deity's name and just chanting it is going to work. You have Google search in your hand, so you have to make use of it very well all the time before you get started with any mantras. Because obviously, I can't. There's millions of mantras, and I can't give you examples of every mantra's energy and who should do it. That's like a big story altogether. So use Google, but also like if you know someone, then always cross check with them, like is it okay for me to chant this mantra. But I always recommend chanting safe mantras, which are Vedic mantras, which are Nama mantras. Anyone can do it. But tantric mantras, I don't recommend anyone doing it. I don't do it, so I don't recommend anyone doing it either. Those are the ones which are very risky and needs to be initiated by a guru. So do not use those tantric mantras. You can use Vedic mantras. Vedic mantras, for example, Sri Ganeshaya Namaha literally means you're invoking the energy of Lord Ganesha to remove the obstacles. That's it. So these simple mantras are effective. Use those. Um, Om Saraswatyay Nama means that you're invoking the energy of goddess of wisdom. So Nama mantras are very, very safe. Like Hare Krishna mantra is very safe. Anyone can do it. Yes. So other questions? Om Mani Padme Hum is a Buddhist mantra. Anyone can use it. Very good. You all can start chanting it as well. It literally means take me from darkness to light. That's it. And which is, I think, a very powerful mantra because we are asking the universal energies to take us from certain darkness and take us to light. Just notice today is 2202022. Very good day. And also Sankashti, which is Lord Ganesha's day. So, a very good day to start a Sankalpa workshop. All of you guys. Mm. So, questions, please. We are running out of time, and I want to take as many questions I can so I can give you instructions for tomorrow. Jessica, do you have any question? No? Do you enjoy the session at least?
Yes, it's really good, Deepti. You're doing great. There were all really good points you covered, and I'm just looking forward to attending tomorrow and learning all the practical part of it.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
Gina, are you there? I know you were so excited, and I want to hear from you. Do you have any questions, or you just want to interact? Then come online. Okay. Cece, do you have something to say?
Yes, I have something to say. I'm a little bit shy, but I tend to have like many goals in my mind. So then it's like I don't know really where to start, or I'm going a little bit to every one of them, but then you know what I mean. So it's like, what would you recommend, to focus on one goal one at a time, or?
I'm going to teach you tomorrow what to do with that, but just to highlight, always pick 5 important goals. 5 important goals. I think now I'm going to give you instructions for tomorrow. So with CC has started it, so I'm gonna give you the instructions for tomorrow what to do. So select 5 important goals that you have and make sure that it has a specific limit of time. For example, you're writing an exam for a civil services, let's say, right? And you want to finish it by the end of the year. So that is a goal. It should have a definite time limit to it, and it should be tangible. Mm, give me a second, actually. I forgot to add this particular slide. I thought like I'm gonna um, tell you tomorrow, but actually I think it is very much needed right now because like it includes the instruction part, right? That's why. I'm gonna share the screen now. You can see how to do the sankalpa, right? You're able to see, right? So break down your heartfelt desires, aspirations into a simple goal that can be achievable in a specific time period. So make sure that you have your goals in such a way that it is tangible enough, that it is achievable enough, and it is very simple that you can remember it. And always keep your goal in 1 to 5 sentences so that you can easily remember and repeat it regularly. Be clear on the purpose and expected outcome of the sankalpa. You can take a screenshot of this if you are able to. Include mantras or chanting that can lead you to focus on the sankalpa without distraction. So this is a starter method which is going to help you for preparing tomorrow. So have this in the mind right now. I'm gonna come back. So your goals should always have tangible reality. It's like you have to bring them into reality. Uh, for example, if you want to be a movie star, then you should make sure that it is going to happen in reality, right? Like becoming a movie star is not an easy task, but how are you going to make it into a reality? You have to make sure that you're doing something about it, like making certain arrangements. So that is how, like, when I say tangible results, like tangible goal, that means that I'm asking you to put those elements into the goal that is allowing you to achieve that goal, like all the elements that requires for that goal to be achieved. So pick 5 goals, just 5 goals, because if you overload your brain with 10 to 15 goals, it is not going to, it's literally going to blast. It's not going to help you focus on one. So focus on one goal at a time, or like just take 5 goals and give them specific times. If all the goals are overlapping and they have like a specific time, and and they have to be on the same like time period, then Do it in a way that you are giving enough time for each goal, in such a way that you're managing your week's time. For example, let's say you are a content creator and you have a day job, as well as you have kids to manage, and these are all goals, right? Content creating is also a goal. You have a day job, that is also a goal, and you have a kids, and that is a priority. That's not a goal, that's a priority. So how are you going to manage your day or your week? By segregating your week's schedule, by giving enough attention, 100% attention to each one of the goals. So that is how you're going to separate them. Always, always use journals. Like, have a diary and always write down your goals. And if you're not able to achieve one goal, refocus on it. Redirect the energy. Uh, Restructure the goals again. For example, you said, like, okay, I have to take care of my kids. So what is the schedule behind it, and how am I going to make sure that I'm going to take care of the kids? So all the activities that goes into it, like going to pick up the kids from the school, going to feed them, all of this, right? Or the whole activities, how are you going to arrange it? That is restructuring. That is a structure that you're following, because everything has to be planned properly. Everything needs to have like a structure. This is where practicality comes into play. You have to be always solution oriented. You need to have a flow chart. I know some days it's not going to be so easy for you to just like uh, do it, but then routine and consistency always helps. Consistent about the plans and goals that you have. If you're not able to manage the time, for example, then wake up another hour early. See, I'm not about the grind and hustle and grind kind of person, but I always respect the people who make use of their time and work hard consistently every day. Because when your intention is not working, your hard work is. So this is not going to be one of those law of attraction sessions which I'm going to tell you, like, okay, guys, just go and do some burn the sage and burn bay leaf, write something and do it. Poof. Now, I'm not going to work. Didn't work for me. I did it for so many years. It didn't work for me, honestly. So the only thing work for me is strong intention and knowing with undivided mind that I want to do this, and just doing that. Then I had so many people telling me that this is not the right job for me, and I had to go back to my accounting job. I had to go back to my corporate jobs. But then I'm right in front of you, and I think I'm pretty good at it. You have to tell me. If I'm not, then I'm gonna do enough work so that I can improve on it. So this is how we set the goal. So I'm not going to boast myself. It's just going to give you an example how we have to work towards it. That's it. Um, yeah. So instructions for tomorrow: get a notebook, and take a page out of it. Right, white paper, yellow paper is best. But if you don't, thank you, Shobha. Bye bye. If you're leaving the session, then bye. But if you're sticking around, I would recommend you to listen to these instructions for tomorrow. So get a paper, pen, preferably yellow paper would be good, but if you don't have a yellow paper, that is okay. If you have a red pen, then that is good. If you don't have a red pen, blue pen also works. Do not use black pen, because we don't use pens for manifesting the energies. You know, that's one of the rituals that we follow. So paper, pen, always use your water bottles whenever you're sitting in the sessions. And if you have your periods or anything of such, you can always let me know so that I will be gentle on your chakras. Um, so that's another thing. And yeah, write down 5 goals that you want to manifest. And we're going to do that tomorrow. Ah, you are welcome, Janet. Thank you. So, yes, we are perfectly on time. 1 hour, almost 40 minutes. And tomorrow is going to be a great session. If you can wear white clothes, then that's going to be amazing. If not, then just come in the regular clothes. Because white is a energy that attracts the divine energies faster, and is also very pure. So, which is the only reason we prefer wearing white. But if you don't, then it's perfectly fine. Anyway, going to connect with the guru energy, so that's not going to be a problem. So, I'm gonna send an email now, mentioning the structure for tomorrow. So don't worry about it. Yes, so excited. Thank you so much for the session. Now let's tune in and end the session with the Shanti Mantra. Okay. Hmm. Take a deep breath. Allow your heart to experience stillness, happiness. Just focus the energy right in your heart center and allow the energy to just settle in your belly and deeply breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Connect to your higher self and say thanks for allowing and making this opportunity for you to learn something today. Thank the universe for aligning you this opportunity. And let's thank together. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhavatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Be in the stillness, and whenever you're ready, drop your palms, return your eyes, and wake up. Hmm. Oh, Ilona, thank you. Dhanyavad. I hope you can make it tomorrow as well. I really want everyone to make it. And if not, we'll try recording the session. I, I hope the recording has been done because I've asked one of my assistants to do it. But let's hope, right? But even if not, then that means the universe is saying that this particular group is special to only get this information. Um, right. Thank you so much, guys. I hope. Okay, thank you. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Sending you hugs from this part of the world and everywhere else. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye, Deepthi. Thank you so much.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
consent